Before Vikings carved runestones or sailed into foreign shores, the people of the North imagined a world alive with gods, giants, magic, and storms. At its center stood Thor, protector of both gods and humans. But around him stood a full pantheon whose personalities shaped Norse belief. Today, we explore Thor and the gods who shared his world. And my name is Josh, and this is Inktology, where I draw characters' events from religion, lore, and mythology. And today we're doing the Norse gods, and everyone loves Thor. And if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as well as hit that notification button. I try to come out with a new video every week and about a new god and teach something cool. So that would definitely be awesome and cool of you. And thank you. And let's begin. So I'm sketching with a 2H pencil, a mechanical pencil, and then I'll be inking with my Molotow pens, black liners. But for right now, I have just sketched out this full scene of Thor kind of rampaging through the hall where they're drinking and eating, and you've got other characters like Loki in the background, Syf, the golden-haired wife of him, as well as Heimdall and a few other characters you won't really see, but you can just imagine they're in there. And this is just trying to show his character of who Thor is, this hot-headed, drunk, raging, Norse god. And if you haven't read the Poetic Edda, definitely grab that book and read it. It's beautiful, and it explains a lot of Norse mythology. It opens with a vision of creation from Voluspa, and I apologize if I ruin these names. And it says one line, "Of old was the age when Ymir lived. Sea nor cool waves, nor sand there were." And from this primordial beginning rose the 9 realms, bound together by the great world tree Yggdrasil. Asgard perched high above, while Midgard, home of humanity, lay protected below. Beyond them stretched the realms of giants, elves, dwarves, and spirits. And one line in the Poetic Edda goes like this, explaining Thor. "Furious Thor, the strongest of gods, swung his hammer with lightning speed." In that one line alone, you already get a pretty good idea of what this character's like. Thor, son of Odin and Earth, appears in the Eddas as a towering, red-bearded figure whose strength shook mountains. Carrying the hammer Mjolnir, he traveled in a goat-drawn chariot, sparked thunder across the sky. More than a warrior, Thor was a protector, and he blessed marriages and hollowed lands and, safeguard homes and travelers and stuff like that. But we all know him as the raging Norse god who just throws lightning and thunder everywhere he goes, which is what makes him great. But he's not really like the one that we see in Marvel, a little bit different. And as for Thor's beautiful golden-haired wife, Syf, there's a poetic line that just kind of explains her real briefly. And it goes like this. "Fair Syf, with a shining hair, sits by Thor, the boldest of gods." Obviously, there's not much there. And she doesn't have too much of a role in these poems and stuff, but there is a very important role that she has with her hair being chopped off by Loki, because Loki's kind of, being a jerk at the moment and having a fun game, but he has to pay the price. And this is how the gods get their gifts and weapons and things of Norse mythology. But she's famous for also symbolizing the ripened grain of the earth. Her calm presence balances Thor's stormy nature. And as for that tale with Loki cutting her hair and the dwarves forging new golden locks of hair for her, reflects her role as a goddess of fertility and renewal. Though not a warrior, Syf represents the home, the fields, and the life Thor fought to protect, as well as having dope hair made out of gold. As for Tyr and the warrior gods, the Poetic Edda says something like this. "Tyr, bravest of gods, dared place his hand on the wolf's gaping jaws. And he did, and he lost his hand. Let me explain. Tyr embodies courage and justice. His sacrifice was placing his hand into Fenrir's mouth, that wolf, so the gods could restrain the wolf. And that's a clear example of the honor for the Norse world. But of course, he lost his hand. Alongside him stood Heimdall, and the ever watchful guardian of the Bifrost, whom the poem Grimnismal describes as the golden tooth Heimdall, the watcher of gods. Pretty self-explanatory. Thor also journeyed with human companions such as Jalfi and Roskva, who joined him after the mishap involving one of his goats. They all accompanied him on expedition into Jotunheim, witnessing feats of strength and facing cunning giants and, doing some damage and stuff, which must have been a fun battle. Two other important Norse gods are Freya and Freyr, and the Vanir gods absorbed into Asgard after the mythic war represented abundance, peace, and magic. Freya reigns over love, beauty, and sorcery. She also receives half of the honored dead and presiding over her hall Sesrumir. And Freyr, her twin brother, governs prosperity, harvest, and favorable weather. His worship was widespread, and the ancient sites linked him to reflect his importance in agriculture and in the community life. But together, Freyr and Freya brought balance to the storm and battle nature of the Aesir. And on to Loki, everyone's favorite, my favorite of course as well. He has a line in the Poetic Edda. It says like this: "Never have I been silent in the halls of the gods." Now, Loki is the shapeshifter, the trickster, the instigator, and in the Poetic Edda, he is clever, mocking, and often dangerous. He brings turmoil to the gods, but his mischief also results in their great treasures, as I mentioned before, like Mjolnir, the Thor's hammer, Gungnir, the spear of Odin, and much more like the rings and other items, like the hair of Syf. And in the movies, Thor frequently becomes the one who cleans up Loki's disasters. Their relationship is still half rivalry, half reluctant partnership, reveals this Norse idea of chaos and order, how that kind of coexist. And I think it does a good job. Thor and Loki kind of balance each other out. And in this drawing, I didn't focus too much on the hammer, even though Thor has this really strong relationship with his hammer. It even says in the Poetic Edda, "Then Thor's heart laughed in his breast. Once again his hammer he held." And that kind of just shows his love for this thing. But it didn't even, Loki actually bothered the dwarfs making the hammer. And it was a mistake that the hammer's handle was short. But it actually worked out for Thor, because then that thing would return to him. He could swing it around much more agile and, do all kinds of cool stuff with it. So, Loki tried, but either way, Thor won. Thor's most memorable stories show both strength and humor, though. Thor dresses as a bride to recover his stolen hammer, slaying the giants once he has Mjolnir in his grip. And in this story, he goes fishing and nearby drags the world's serpent from the depths, which is quite wild. And in the halls of Utgarda Loki, Thor faces illusions so powerful that even his failures terrify the giants. He wrestles old age itself and lifts the disguised serpent that encircles the world and drinks the sea. I mean, he's kind of weird for a god. No joke, kind of weird. But he's pretty cool at the same time, and that's why I enjoyed drawing this, and I sure do hope you enjoyed this drawing and these characters and the style of having Thor thrashing around a bar or the Norse gathering hall. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this drawing, and if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And we should be reminded that these gods are not flawless beings. They argue, feast, fight, trick one another, and they rely on each other. Thor stands at their bulwark, guarding Asgard and Midgard alike. Around him gathers Sif's brightness, Tyr's honor, Freya's magic, Freyr's prosperity, Heimdall's vigilance, and Loki's unpredictable spark. And as we explore the Norse gods, we're in for a wild, wild ride. This is Inktology.